Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're the GenXPats and we are in Madisonville, Louisiana today on our sailboat Maverick. One of the things that we're going to delve into today is we get asked a lot of questions about how do we make, store, and use power on our sailboat when we're living off-grid. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at solar power, we're going to take a look at LiFePO4 batteries, and we're going to take a look at how we actually use that stored energy on Maverick and what we use it for. So the first thing we're going to talk about is solar, and there are different types of solar arrays. BougeRV sent us a cigs solar panel. It's a flexible solar panel. It's something that I've wanted to do to add to our system here. Basically, you can see that it is very flexible. It's rollable. You can actually roll that up and store it if you want to. It comes in two different types. One, it's got grommets on it, so you can kind of put them, change the position. I elected to go with that because I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it yet and how I'm going to put it on there permanently. But also they've got backing with tape that you can stick it so that it's in a semi-permanent position. But I am using the grommet ones from BougeRV. What I've got is I've got it situated on top of our bimini for right now. The reason that I'm excited to take a look at and test the cigs system is that it comes with a lot more diodes in between the actual panels itself, and it's supposed to work a lot better in low light situations and shading. And when you're on a sailboat, you can see I've got booms, I've got lines, I've got shrouds, I've got everything that shades it. And you wouldn't think that just a little bit of shading matters, but it matters a lot with solar. Even just a fraction that's shaded is going to dramatically reduce your harvesting from the sun. So we're going to talk about cigs, we're going to look into it and kind of see exactly how it performs. What we do is we actually harvest the sun, and if you look, here are solar panels right now. We've got an array set up that's right about 1500 watts of solar right now. So what happens is it takes the energy from the sun, then it goes through a controller into our battery, from our battery through an inverter and out to our system. So first we're going to talk about how we harvest the power and then what a controller does. So first let's talk about the cigs panel and how it's revolutionizing how we actually harvest solar energy. So the first thing you notice is that it's sitting on top of my bimini. My bimini is curved, so it's very difficult, and it's the reason that I didn't put my original solar panels on top of the bimini because they don't fit properly. So what these panels allow me to do is it allows me to put it right on a curved system, so you can put it on your bimini, you could put it on an RV, you could put it on any type of structure that has a curve. You could put it on something that's flat, honestly. But the benefit to these are that when you have a rigid panel, it's very difficult to lay on something that's curved. So they're set up like this. The other benefit of the cigs is that you're supposed to be able to harvest more energy from the sun in low light situations and also in situations where they're partially shaded. So I'm going to test that out and kind of see how much better it does in those types of situations. So what the solar panels do is they actually harvest the sun, and then from there what we're going to do is we're going to take that power, it goes into our battery. So I'm going to explain to you how we get it into the battery and how we maximize the amount of energy that we're able to harvest and actually get it into our battery. So this particular solar panel from BougeRV is a 200 watt panel. So what that means is it has the ability to harvest 200 watts per hour when the sun is in a good position. And typically you can get maximized sun harvesting between, say, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that, and then it kind of diminishes over the period of time. But with 200 watts you should be able to get easily 1,000 watts of energy into your batteries each and every day. So you can see that these flexible panels are very flexible. They can move around, no problem at all. You can put them into any curved situation. So I want to thank BougeRV for sending us these flexible panels to kind of test out, see what we think of them, and hopefully it's something that you can see when I go through and show the situation that we use it in. Maybe it's something that you could use as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to give BougeRV a fair shake because I had it laid out the way it was is not getting a good angle to the sun. So I'm going to show you, because it's a 200 watt panel, how much production you can get out of it. So the sun is kind of right at about a 45, 50 degree angle. So even at laying flat like this, you're not going to get a lot of production from it. But what we can do is kind of aim it directly at the sun this way. And now what I'm going to do is kind of look and see the amount of production that we can get. And I'll show you that on the screen as we do this. And this is the most beneficial way if you're stationary, like if you're in an RV or something, to basically set it up. And a neat little trick is you can put like a can of soup here so you can see the exact angle of the sun so that it fits perfectly. You can see my angle's going this way, so I need to kind of set it exactly like this. So let's just see the maximum amount of production that we can get from here. And I'll show that on the screen and we can kind of see exactly what we can get.
About 2 o'clock.
It is roughly about 2 o'clock here in Louisiana. So the sun is, from a production standpoint, you should still be able to get the majority of the production out of the sun. Typically it's best between like 10 and 2. So we're still at a good angle. This should give us a good angle and we'll see what kind of production we can get. The other thing that I want to show you is I want to show you how flexible these panels are. Like literally, you can roll them right up on themselves and it won't hurt the panels. You can walk on them, although I wouldn't necessarily suggest that because they get pretty hot because they're black in the sun. But you can walk on them. I think there are even videos online where there's a guy taking a baseball bat to them. You know, so they're very, very sturdy. But you can lay them out on deck, walk on them if you wanted to, but they would get pretty hot for walking on. But very flexible, so anything that you want to do, you can, like on your RV or on your boat or even at home on your roof, anything like that, this is going to be a good solution for. Okay, so the next thing we need to talk about is we need to talk about how do we get the actual power of the sun into our battery. So the first thing you can see up here, it already comes with connections on here that's connected directly to the panel. And then it comes down to these two neat little connectors. These are called MP4 connectors. So these are waterproof connections. What you can then do is take these connections and tie it into something else that you have. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this from the solar panel. It's going to go directly into a MPPT controller. All it's doing is taking the energy that it produces and optimizes the voltage and the amperage to be able to put it into your battery in the most optimal way. So for example, if you have a lead acid battery, or if you have an AGM battery, or if you have a lithium battery, typically on the MPPT controller, you have the ability to change your settings to make sure that you're charging for that particular battery, because they have different voltages inside of each battery and they charge at different levels. So what we're going to do now is show how we connect this to our charge controller, and then what we'll do is we'll go from that MPPT charge controller into the battery, and I'm going to show you that next. All right, first off, let's talk about the heart of our system, and that's our batteries. These are LifePo 4 batteries. This particular battery is from Power Queen. It's 12 volt, 100 amp hour. It's got a low temp cutoff, and that's going to be important. I'm going to talk about that later. It's got Bluetooth, and I'm going to show you on the screen how I can hook up directly to the Bluetooth app, and I can see what's going into this battery, what's coming out of the battery, and what the charge level is. So it's a really good system. This here battery, about 2 years ago, was a $900 battery. So you're looking at them now, and LifePo prices have come down. This battery for right now, you can get it for about $180 with the sale that they're running right now, which is an incredible offer, I think. It's a very good battery, grade A cells inside of here, so it's going to do everything that you want your battery to do. And remember, Power Queen has the biggest sale of the year coming up for Black Friday. It's site-wide and it's running from November the 19th through the 29th. You get 30% off. If you use a link in the description below and our special code, you're going to get an additional 5% off. So what we're going to do is we're going to show how we take our solar panels connect directly to our charge controller. This is the MPPT charge controller by BougeRV. It's a 40 amp charge controller. We will hook that directly to our battery. We will hook our solar panels directly to the charge controller via the cables that we've got also from BougeRV, and then we'll connect the charge controller to the battery. And what this will do is it will take the solar panel and take the power that's coming from the sun, optimize it through here, and charge our battery for us. So let's get into that. Okay, so right now I'm going to show you what I've already got done and what I'm going to hook up. So I have got, you can see in here, battery negative, battery positive, and this is what connects up to the batteries. Now, BougeRV sends these really nice connectors that you crimp on here and you can hook onto here and give it a really nice connection. I don't have that on there right now because this is kind of a temporary setup. I'm just really setting this up to kind of show you. So I'm going to put it in a more permanent position later on, and I'm going to put those connectors on there because it gives it a very, very good stable connection. You can see when you got the wire in there and push down, you know, it's not a great connection, but it's good enough for right now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these MC4 connectors that we've got. These are extension cables. So I'm going to connect it to the controller, and you can see PV plus, PV negative. This is photovoltaic, and that's basically solar panel. So I'm going to take the positive one, put in the connection, and clamp it down pretty good, nice and snug. Take the negative, put it in the negative connection, put it in here, and clamp it down pretty good. Nice and snug. Give it a good little tug, make sure it's in there, which it is. Now what we'll do is we'll take the controller and hook it directly to the battery. Positive side of the battery, positive connection. Tighten it up pretty good. Negative side of the battery to the negative connection. Make sure it's got a good connection on here. Now you can see that the controller is on. It shows the level of the battery. So right now I've got the charge controller hooked up to the battery, and right now I'm into the Bluetooth for the actual Power Queen battery. And I'm looking, the battery is pretty full right now, but it shows that it's at 97% state of charge. All right, so right now what I'm going to do, we've got everything connected up. We've got the controller connected to the battery. The only thing we don't have is power going into the controller. So I'm going to use these MC4 connectors. I'm going to connect directly to the BougeRV cigs solar panels right here and kind of see what happens. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect up these MC4 connectors. And now we should show that we're actually charging our battery. So we've got 8 amps coming in here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting about 109, 110 watts into my battery, my Power Queen 12 volt battery. I can see that on the Bluetooth. It's at 8 amps. And the battery right now is 94% charged. And I will show you that. I'll put that up on the screen. You can see that right on their Bluetooth system. So what I'm also looking at on here now is I'm looking at my MPPT charge controller on here, and it shows that it's at 21.7 volts. It's got a current of 5.29 amps, and it's putting 115 watts into the battery. And it shows exactly what the battery is. The battery's at 13.5 volts. It's got a current of 8 amps, and it's putting 107 watts in. So you can really monitor your system with this and kind of see how much solar you're making. So right now, the sun is not at a great angle. We've got the solar panel flat up here. So it's coming in on a not a great angle, but it's okay. We're actually doing over 110 watts right now. So that's very good. If we want to get a maximized amount from the sun, we can take that panel and put it on an angle so the sun is shining directly on it. And I'm going to show you that as well so that we can get the maximum amount of power out of it. So the thing is, on a sailboat, we really don't get optimal performance because we don't have the ability to put the panels directly at the right angle to the sun. Some people you will see with their panels, they have them adjustable so that you can kind of move them around, and that's a really good option. We haven't really found that we need to do that. We get a good enough performance that we can fill our batteries back up to 100% after a full day in the sun. So that seems good enough for us. But if you have the ability to adjust them and put them at the perfect angle to the sun, you're going to get a lot better performance. Alright guys, so earlier on in the video I told you that I've got a bonus for you, and what I'm going to do now is if you have a portable solar generator like this, I'm going to show you how you can take a lithium ion phosphate battery and use it as an expansion battery. If you actually have a portable solar generator, you probably looked at a expansion battery if you need more power, and one of the things about them is they're really expensive. The thing now is that you can get a 12 volt, 100 amp hour lithium ion phosphate battery like this here for about $180. So essentially what you can do is you can increase the capacity of your solar generator by up to 50%. So what we've got right here is we've got a portable power generator, and we can show you a video of this that we did a little while earlier. I'll kind of put the link in here so you can look it up, but you can kind of find out a lot about this particular one, but they're all essentially kind of similar. This one here has about 2,000 watt hours, and then inside of here with a 100 amp hour battery, we've got about 1,200 amp hours in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can take the power from here, put it in here. And one of the things that I'll do, I'm going to show you two ways to do it actually. The first way is if you're using your solar generator, say like using fans or lights or even like a small refrigerator or something like that, it's not draining the battery very fast inside of here. So what you can do is you can hook this directly to the portable solar generator, and what that'll do is it'll put it about 100 watts per hour in there. So the good thing about this is if you're discharging it fairly slowly, like if you're using, say, fans or lights or even a small refrigerator or something like that, and you're taking out less than maybe about 200 watts per hour, you can put 100 watts per hour directly in here. Now, what I will say is that you need to take a look at your portable solar generator and kind of see what the minimum voltage is. The minimum voltage in this one here is less than 12.8. I can use 11 volts actually, so I can go directly from the battery right into here. So what I've got is I'm hooked up directly to the terminals here, and then what I'm going to do is, this is something that I've got kind of made up because I'm using this with my electric outboard, but it's just an Anderson connector, and I've got an Anderson connector here, and then on the end here I just made up a little pigtail with a XT60 plug, and you can take the XT60 plug, you can plug it right in where your solar comes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this together. So positive to positive, negative to negative, and I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to plug it into the back of the unit in where the solar plugs in. So I'll hook this up. And then on the back of the unit here, we've got where the solar comes in. So we're just going to plug it directly right in here. And now if you see up here, you see we're actually putting 94 watts in, 93 watts. So what it'll do is it'll continuously charge as you're discharging. So if you're taking out 200 watts an hour, it's going to last you about 10 hours if you've got a 2,000 watt solar power generator. And also, if you've got a battery like this that's got an extra 1200 watts that you're able to put in, as you're taking your power out, you're also charging from here. So it's going to extend your portable solar generator from a 10-hour to then a 15-hour, depending on if you're taking out 200 watts. But it'll continue to do that, and it'll continue to draw from here even when you're taking power out. Once again, you need to look at your solar generator though, because it has a maximum amount of power. So for example, it has a maximum amount of power that you can take out and that you can put in. So this is a good way that you can set this up. You don't need any extra equipment. You can just hook your battery directly to this. But bonus number 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a real world example of how it helps us. So in our situation, what we do is we hook up an AC to here. And our AC runs about 350 to 450 watts per hour if the compressor is running. So if the compressor is not running, then it drops down to about 80 watts. So for example, if we've got 2000 watts here and we're taking out 500 watts and the compressor's off some of the times, it'll get us about 5 hours. So the thing is that even if we had this hooked up to it, in 5 hours, it'll only put in an extra hour. So it would help us get to 6 hours, because we'd be taking 100 watts from here over the 5-hour period. We'd put an extra 500 watts in, and our air conditioner is using about 500 watts an hour. But what I've got is another extra little tip for you, DIY, to how we use it. So what I now do is I will take from here and I'll put a step-up converter on here. So what it'll do is it'll take 12 volt and turn it into 48 volt. And that means instead of us getting 100 watts per hour, we can get about 500 watts per hour. So as our portable power station is losing 500 watts due to our AC, we're putting 500 watts from our battery in here. So now instead of having 6 hours worth of run time, we can get to about 8 hours worth of run time. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, so this is how we use our portable power station to run our AC, which takes us through 8 hours. Basically all I've got, and I'm going to put a link in the description, this is a step-up converter. So it steps up from 12 volt to 48 volts. And what it'll do is it'll put more wattage into our portable power station from our battery. So very simply, all we're going to do is we're going to connect this up to the load side, and then we're going to connect this up to the discharge side. So in this case, our negative here is still our black, and our positive is actually our yellow on this side. So just make sure that you connect it up properly. And I just have this shrink wrap on over here just so I don't touch them together. And then on our load side, we're going to connect up the same as before. Positive to positive, negative to negative. You can see we still have the same pigtail. This is our XT60 plug, and I'm going to plug that in the exact same place, which is our solar input. So I'm going to plug this in. And now I'm going to plug in the battery. And now you can see over here that it's putting in 575 watts an hour. So it's putting in more than our AC will draw. So as our AC is discharging the portable solar generator, the battery is charging it back up. So basically what happens in this situation is now we get a chance to go from about 6 hours, 5.5 to 6 hours a night, to about 8.5 hours before it depletes. And then if you were looking earlier in our video, you saw basically how we do is we just charge this portable power station with our solar panels. We connect it directly right up to our portable power station. It's got its own MPPT inside of here. It's got its own inverter inside of there. For the battery, we do exactly what we showed initially in the video. We use the BougeRV solar panels and then the BougeRV controller, the MPPT controller, and it goes directly into our battery. So that allows us to charge at the right parameters for this particular battery. You can hook up to any type of battery that you want. It can be an AGM, it can be a lithium, anything like that. But the controller, you set the controller up for the battery and it charges it at the right parameters. So what I want to do now is kind of recap what we've got. We've got the solar that's coming in. It's going through our extension cables, going into our MPPT. The MPPT is now optimizing the solar, putting it into our batteries. And now from the batteries, what it does is it stores the energy. From there, what we do is we have the availability then to take from here and run everything that we run on a sailboat. These batteries are perfect for running anything that you can think of that draws power. Anything from 12 volt to 110 volt. I'm going to show you how we change the 12 volt into 110, 120 volt so that we use it on Maverick. But basically what we have is we have this exact system, except it's larger. So we have a larger solar array. We have a couple other charge controllers, and we have 4 batteries that are bigger, but they're just like this. It's just that you can scale the system up. So from here, what you can do, anything that runs on 12 volt, you can connect directly to here. So for example, all of our lights on Maverick, we run directly from our batteries, our bilge pumps, our toilets, our fans, our anchor lights, our navigation lights, our radar, our chart plotter, everything like that runs directly from the battery. Now, if you want to run other things, which we do run, like our induction cooktop, we also have an air fryer, we have a Instapot or a pressure cooker, we also have air conditioning that we run from these batteries. So what you do is then you add one more thing in line with this. I don't have one here to kind of show you, but from here we connect up what we call an inverter. So an inverter just connects up here. Then what happens is the power goes into the inverter. The inverter changes it from 12 volt into 120 volt. So now what happens is you're able to plug in anything that you have a regular outlet plug in, you can plug that into the inverter. So you can run your induction cooktop, you can run your air conditioning, you can run power tools, you can run fans, lights, anything that can plug into an outlet, you can run from there. So that's exactly how we run it on Maverick. So this year in cruising, we do have a generator on board, but this year in cruising, we ran completely off of this system, completely off of the sun for the whole cruising time. We turned our generator on one time this year to be able to charge our batteries up when we had a couple days that we didn't have much sun. Now this year we were pretty lucky because we left here in March, we didn't get back until June, and we literally had a couple days that were cloudy and that rained on us. But literally that is all we used the whole time that we were out on anchor, and we did not spend any time hooked up to a marina. We did spend a little bit of time hooked up to a friend's dock, and I want to say thank you to Chris and Shannon for doing that. But other than that, we didn't do anything with regards to power consumption. The only thing that we used is our solar panels and our batteries. So on Maverick, we have 4 of these connect in series. Instead of it being a 100 amp hour, they're 280 amp hours. So there's 4 of them connected together for 1120 amp hours. But that is exactly what we use. We use the exact same system, we just scale it up. You can do the exact same thing at home, or you can do the exact same thing when you're camping, anything like that. You can take solar, you can scale that up to the amount of solar that you need. You can run it through your MPPT charge controller, run it right into your battery, and from your battery you can run anything 12 volt. If you want to run anything that's 120 volt, you connect an inverter up to that, and you can run anything through the inverter that's 120 volts. So I did want to talk about this particular type of battery and the chemistry makeup. What we've elected to use on board Maverick is what's called a LiFePO4, or lithium iron phosphate battery. So one of the things that we talk about when we talk about a lithium ion battery is that you may have seen in the news fires with regards to e-bikes, hoverboards, or even Tesla cars or any type of electric cars. They have a different chemical makeup. These batteries, LiFePO4, are known for their safety, their thermal protection, and one of the things about them is that you've got a longevity of the amount of cycles that you can run through there. So you can discharge and recharge this battery up to 3,000, 3,500 cycles. So that's all the way down, all the way up, and then it maintains about 85% of the battery charge that's in here. So what that's going to do is that's going to give you, even if you did that every day for 10 years, this battery is going to last 10 years for you. So unlike traditional lithium-ion batteries, this battery is known for its safety, longevity, and thermal stability. It can last for thousands of charge cycles, making it a great investment for all of your energy needs. So by using the LiFePO4 battery in conjunction with the cigs panels, I'm not just saving money, but I'm also contributing to a greener planet, which we like, especially living on the water. I think that's one thing that initially, when we went out on the water, it was not something that was a big concern of mine, but as we travel around a lot more and we get to see the plastics, pollution in the water, it's something that's become very near and dear to us, is to try and make sure that we do the best that we can to contribute to a cleaner planet. With these systems, renewable energy is the future and you can be a part of it. If you're interested in making a switch to renewable energy or just want to learn more, take a look at the links in the description below and find out where you can get your own LiFePO4 battery by Power Queen or your cigs solar panels and MPPT charge controller by BougeRV. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more eco-friendly tips and tricks from the GenXPats. And as always, thanks for watching, and we can't wait to meet you out there.